Okay, we're live, you guys. How's everybody been?
Great.
It's been what? 3 weeks?
Three, four, I think.
Yeah, it's been a
Happy
minute,
New Year,
man.
y'all.
Oh yeah, 2024. Happy New Year, y'all. Oh man, I swear that came by so fast. I didn't even really get to enjoy my New Year's on New Year's Eve. All I did was just I just wanted to sleep in. Like I got sick too. My whole family got sick and we just now kind of recovered.
Dude, bro, I was gonna call you up because I was not feeling well after I saw you that day, right? And
Oh,
I'm not
yeah.
even talking else too, and my daughter was sick as well. And we're taking care of mama. So I was like, oh crap.
It's the
And
flu. Everybody got it.
luckily it was not COVID. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. It was just the flu. It was like, my kids they had diarrhea, coughing, running nose, headache, sore throat, feeling kind of shivering. So there was a lot of that going on.
That stuff's rough too. It's real rough.
Yeah, my daughter was the only one that did not catch it though. Surprising because normally we all catch it by the time we're done, everybody gets their turn, but she didn't get it for some reason.
She was very, very fortunate. Whatever it is out there right now, it's bad because my daughter, we're very, very fortunate. Neither one of my kids, they have great immune systems. This is the first time my daughter actually ever had a cold or a flu, I suppose. It was the first time. She never caught COVID, nothing like that. Even though C and I both got it twice, CJ had it once, and there we are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think something definitely came by this year, but it's good now. It's good now. So yeah. But we got some stuff to talk about today, Chi Chi fams, Charles got
Dude,
some stuff he want to share with us. Lisa does too. I do too. You guys probably want to know what's going on in the market. So of course, I'm gonna be going over all the data with y'all. Um, this year, interest rates supposed to be coming down. That's what everybody's kind of predicting. That's kind of what the feds have been kind of hinting to everybody. You think that's gonna be the case, Lisa?
well, I'm gonna give you guys an update because what happened yesterday and what happened
Oh
today
yeah.
was slightly different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So can't wait for that update. Charles can't wait too. We were kind of talking about that ahead of time. Well, like, where's Lisa? She better come on board. 'Cause we need to know some. We need to know more about those rates.
Good stuff. Yeah, I know. Okay, yeah, I'm excited to share that later on. But you go, please share us with what the updates are for this new coming year, Tia.
Yes, I am gonna do that right now. Let me share my screen. Okay, it's good to see this chart again. I ain't gonna lie, it's been a minute, but it's good to
Let's
see
see.
this chart. Okay, new listings, inventory, sold, pending. Here's the data, everybody. Inventory is down 6% from last week, but look at this. We haven't been around for the past couple of weeks and it's been trending down. I mean, it's pretty typical, towards this time of the year. Inventory normally trickles down. Sellers that don't really need to sell tend to remove their homes off the market to be preparing for the springtime market. So around February or March-ish, there's gonna be a lot more inventory, but there's gonna be a lot more competition too, okay, buyers. So just FYI. New listings, no change. But if you guys could look from the chart, it's been trending down. It's this blue line right here. New listing is super low. So again, sellers know that wintertime is the worst time to put their homes on the market because not a lot of activities. So they take it off the market and they don't even try to put it on the market. There's some sellers that's preparing their home to be listed, but it's not on market. It's just kind of like on hold. It's already preparing. They've already renovated it, staged it, all of that, but it's waiting to hit the market. So that's why you see this blue line right here kind of going down. Sold homes are also down 14%. That is the dark graph right here, kind of trending down from the past couple of weeks. If you look for the past 3 weeks, it was kind of steady, but just this past week, it went kind of down. Okay, sold homes. Pending is also down 49%, and that is this red line right here. It's trending down. So when it's trending down like this, the pending homes, it either means the home is now officially sold or it got kicked back into the market because the buyers canceled or it got removed, So that's why you see this trending down. Because if it did get sold, then the sold homes would normally go up. Does that make sense, you guys?
Yep.
So that's what that red line is. That's for the pending homes. Now, same time last month. Well, comparing this month and last month, inventory is down 27%. New listings are down 42%. Sold homes is down 28%. Pending homes are down 14%. Down, down, down. And again, it's pretty typical around this time of the year. All right. Same time last year, inventory is down 19%. New listings are down 38%. Sold homes are down 18%. Pending homes are up, though, 11%. Year to date, compared to last year, inventory is down 19%. New listings are down 38%. Sold homes are down 18%. And pending homes, the reason this is identical basically to this is because we're in January. There's not much months worth of data yet. So until this gets to like 3 months, like in March, April, May, this is going to look pretty similar to this. Okay. So today we're just going to cover the 1 month year to date versus a combined year to date. Okay. That's that. Let's go over the average price per square foot. And it is trending down week by week. It is down 4.7% from last week. Now, from last month, it is down 1.2%. From last year, it is down 1.2% as well. Same time. Okay, so not much change. Okay. Days on the market, kind of going back up. Again, this is pretty typical. Wintertime homes tend to stay on the market a little bit longer due to people canceling, and not that many buyers are on the market because of holidays and so forth. So that's why you see this jump right here from last week. Average days on the market is now increased by 34%, which on average right now is about 39 days. Yes, it may seem like a lot. Before it was like 20 or 30, but 40 days is still pretty fast. Okay. Still technically like a seller's market still. Okay. So don't don't confuse this with okay, we're in a buyer's market now. We're not in a buyer's market. Okay. When we go over the inventory, you guys will see that. 96 of sellers are still getting what they're asking for if they market it correctly. Comparing this data to last month, average days on the market is higher by a few days. Last month was 25 days. This month is 32 days. Comparing to last year, it's still a lot faster, which is 32 days on average this year versus last year. It was 36 days on average. Only a few days difference, but technically it's still pretty fast. Just know that, okay, Chi fams? Anything under 3 months worth or 90 days is fast, okay? Average price sold and active. Now, from last week, active price is up by 0.6, not a lot. Sold price is up by 3% from last week. From last month, it is down 1%, and active is down 43%. From last year, same time, it is higher by 8% on the active side. Sold price is down by 0.7, which not really that much of a change, okay? A lot of people kind of get this confused because they see that homes are on the market a lot longer than normal. So they're thinking, man, prices are a lot lower now. Why are prices not dropping to where it should be, which is super low, right? And that's not happening. If you guys see here, it's a drop from last year, but it's not a huge drop. Last year, average sold price was 575K. This year is 571, $4,000 off. It's not a huge gap. Okay, so it's if you're looking at monthly payment wise with today's interest rates, it's a lot higher than last year. A lot higher. Okay, even though price is not that much higher, interest rates changed a lot, which Lisa is gonna go over in a bit. So I want you guys to understand that. Let's go over to months worth of inventory. And there's no change. We are on 2.9 month worth of inventory compared to last month. Again, it's pretty typical around this time of the year. 2.9 months worth of inventory. It does seem like that's pushing us towards like a steady market, but this is not a lot of inventory, okay? It's not a lot of inventory. It needs to go more. It needs to go higher, okay?
Hey, Chia, just curious, okay? You know how like before you mentioned if it's roughly in about the 4 to 6 months range, and that's pretty much a normal market, and then after that's when
Mhm.
we get into a seller's market and everything like that. Because
Buyer's
of
market.
right, I'm sorry, buyer's market. Because of the percentage of people increasing who are living in Sacramento is higher too. Would you say that would also skew how many months is available until the next tier starts as well? So it might actually be a little bit more than that because now we have a lot more residences in Sacramento too.
For the buyer pool?
Yeah, for the buyer pool. Because, you know, I mean, I've coming from the Bay Area in 2005 until now, I mean, the population in Elk Grove alone more than doubled, and that's less than 2 decades. So would that make
Yeah,
a
it does make a difference, but then remember this data is based off of all of the data being collected from what's on the market currently, right?
yeah,
And if you're looking at the data, you would think that more people living in the area is going to affect this, but it doesn't, because even though there's more buyers that comes into the market, if the inventory doesn't change or nothing gets added to the data, it doesn't change anything, right? It's kind of like so right now we know that a lot of sellers are still not putting their homes on the market because rates are still
right,
crazy high. And that has a lot to do with the data, like with how the market is being shifted, because the inventory that we see right here, I guarantee that the buyers that's in the market right now, they've seen all this inventory already. So the moment a new home hits the market, everybody's forming a line to go look at that same home because it's the new listing. If it's under 2 weeks, it's considered a new listing for a buyer, and they're gonna go look at it. It's gonna make it feel like, man, there's no homes, because there is no homes. Whatever's
hmm
still on the market, it's either overpriced, the sellers aren't budging on price, it needs a lot of work, it's not moving ready for a lot of first-time home buyers liking, and there's no incentives, like even with new builds, there's new builds have sitting inventory, and most of the time those inventory that are sitting are overpriced, and there's not much incentive because maybe that developer kind of went over their head by over upgrading that model when the market wasn't calling for that kind of upgrade.
right. What I mean,
So
Chia, let's just say for instance, because 2.9, what does that compute to in actual numbers? How many houses is on the market right now? Well, I guess it's hard to tell just because it's only 4 days into the month. But let's just say from your last data and everything like that, let's just say it's 1,000 homes, okay? Just a nice round number and everything. But if the population increases in buyer pool and everything, right? Okay,
mhm,
where as before, if there was, let's just say 250,000 people looking for homes, now there's 500,000 people looking for homes, and it's the same number, if not less, of how much is in the inventory, even though it shows 2.9 months is what I'm saying, right? It might need to
mhm.
call for more than that, way more than the 6 months that we projected, in order to consider a buyer's market. Would you
Yes,
say so?
you're right. So to answer your question, this is active listings right now within the last 7 days in the Sac County. It's about
Okay.
1,600 homes.
Okay.
We know there's more buyers in this.
A tremendous amount more than that, for sure.
So like with us knowing that, if we go back to this, 2.9 months worth of inventory is not that much.
Right. It's not
Because
enough to carry that many buyers that are looking for
and
it right now.
and remember, we're still in the first week of January. When we get more towards the end of January, this number guarantees gonna go down.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's only the first week, and
It's
there's already
only the first week. Yes.
only
So
first week, and I
remember
already have
there
2 already, and I'm sure Tia, you have plenty too. So it's like it's only the first week, you guys, and people
it's
are already
only the
sitting
first week. So
there.
like that's why a lot of agents, whenever they do get like market updates, they wait until the end of the month to give the updates, because in the beginning it's kind of skewed and it's not really 100% accurate because of all the data, because if everything happened within just this last month, right, which is December, then all the data is going basically off of that, and it's going to make it seem like we have a lot of inventory, but in reality we don't. So this right
Right.
here is a combined data of homes that just canceled, just came out from pending, um and homes that were that are new inventory. Does that make
Right.
sense? So it may seem like it's a lot because nobody's out there buying homes yet. It's still the first week of January, so people are still recovering from New Year's Eve. And the holidays and all that. So nobody's out there buying homes right now. And if there are, it's a small percentage of people. So this number is going to be skewed. So again, I would say wait until the end of the month to really scope out the month's worth of inventory. But now the next question, a lot of people may say, then why are we sharing all this information now? Because I like to show this information on a week to week basis with all you guys, so that you guys could compare. Because notice how months worth of inventory is months worth of inventory. It's not weeks worth of inventory. Because if I change this to weekly, that tab gets eliminated. You see that? Because they know that the inventory number metric is not going to make sense on a weekly basis. It makes more sense on a monthly basis. So with that being said, towards the end of the month is kind of like when they get all of their actual data for that month. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it makes sense, because I'm not saying that again. Hello, Eva.
Yay, it's
Welcome
Eva.
aboard. Yeah, it's Eva and Koo. So yeah, that's the data for all of you guys. If you guys look, there is no change from last year. It's about the same as last year. So pretty typical. Right now everybody's kind of preparing for tax season. Once the tax season is over, a lot of those people that got a huge chunk of return, they're going to be entering the market again too. Okay, so this is definitely not going to be enough inventory at all. Did you want to say something, Charles? And I interrupted you earlier.
No, you're good.
Okay. Well, that's the market update, y'all. From my side, at least. Lisa, did you want to share your market update on the lending side?
Absolutely. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the rates are doing right now, and I'll share with you guys a little bit on that. Okay.
Okay. I'll wait for you to share your screen. What's up, Linda and Tang? Of course, we love interacting with all you guys. If you guys have questions, remember to shoot them in the comment section. We just want to educate you guys so that you guys could be informed about the whole process and be equipped You know,
Yeah.
this year's gonna be an interesting year because it's election year. Remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the reason why we have that, prediction that the interest rates will go down. Are you able to see my screen yet, Chia?
Yep, I see it. It's
Yeah,
up on the board. Everybody should see it now
perfect.
too.
Perfect. So you can see, okay. So on let me look at the calendar again. Give me just a moment, guys. Okay. So the Fed's pretty much met on the 13th, okay? Rates went
Right.
down to 6.125 on the 14th. I know that because we were able to capture that right away for some of our clients. So that was like hitting the blackjack right there. Because during this
Mm-hmm.
time, right before it, it was roughly about 6.5%. Okay. And
Yep.
then starting after Christmas, it started to become 6.5% again. So the
Yeah.
projection in the new year, and the very the news that we got on Tuesday was like, okay, it's looking like it's going to be trending down. So watch out for it within the next 2 weeks. Guess what, you guys? Today, it went all the way back up. As you can see, average is
Man.
now 6.76. All right, and it did
Back to
turn
normal.
right when I tell you guys, yes, this is just a prediction, okay, based on the trends, based on what's going on this year and everything like that. And guess what, job markets are coming out. You guys can absolutely check out Mortgage News Daily. That's what we look at and everything. Okay, this is the consumer report. Lots of stake with Friday's job report, which is tomorrow, which can swing any direction as well. So if the job market is good, most likely the interest rate is going to stay high like this. Okay, and if the job market is not as great, then it'll start to go down to pump it up again. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, okay, on that. And we'll continue to monitor your loans, continue to make sure that you're communicating with your loan officers and seeing if there's anything else that can be done. Okay.
I
Other thing I
know.
want to
There's people.
share. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I was going to go into the other surprise that I got this new year.
Oh yeah. So for those of you that are in contract right now with your lenders, you guys should be looking at the rates a lot. And if it's high because you missed the boat of 6.1 or so that we saw last week, you know, I always kind of like to tell Lisa, like, if you feel that the rates may be coming down, like, would you advise waiting to lock the rates? Because you don't have to lock right away, but you also don't want to wait too long to lock your rate.
Correct. Correct. I mean, on Tuesday, everybody was floating, you guys. Okay. And today, everybody's like, oh my goodness, right? It's a gamble. It really, really is right now. Okay. But if you have a way where your lender has a way to make sure that, hey, if we lock it at this rate, because that's what I did as well. I actually locked some loans on Wednesday and we did a float down. Okay. We have the option to float down. So if it happens to hit the very next day, and it can only do that for a day or two, we actually use the better of the two. So we have that option. Not all lenders have that option, you guys. So definitely take a look at that and see if that's something that you can do. And they don't always advertise that. So ask your lender if that's something that they can do for you. Okay.
Yes, do that. Remember, if your lender is not offering that to you, then yeah, you might need to question your lender.
Big question. Sometimes the rules don't. Remember, us lenders, we don't make the rules, you guys. Okay, we don't make the rules. We're worker bees that have to comply to guidelines and things like that too. I'm just really, really grateful that I do work for a place that's very understanding and very consumer friendly.
Yep. Did you want to talk about your other thing now? The good news?
I do. But before I get to that, I'm going to show you my screen. County loan limits for Sacramento did increase. I mean, it increased across the board, you guys. So it did increase a little from last year. Okay. And if you're getting a loan that's 766 550 as a forming, that's conventional loans. Okay. FHA loans are 763. VA doesn't really have a limit, but it's based off of what your entitlement, your VA entitlement are. So just an update for you on that. The next exciting thing.
Can you pull that back up? Can you share what conforming loan limits are? Because some people don't know what it is. I mean, I know what it is, but would love for you to share what it means.
Sure. So I'm going to go back to that again. Okay. And I'm putting Sacramento zip code again. Okay. So conforming and conventional loans. Normally you'll hear the term conventional and not conforming. Okay. So the reason why they put it this way is because there's a difference between conventional and high balance loans. They're all conforming loans. They're all traditional loans. It's just based on whatever the loan amount it is. But if you are doing conventional loan, know that you can go all the way up to a loan amount of $766,550. That is not the purchase price. So if you're putting 20% down, you can absolutely buy a lot more than that. Okay. So if you stay below this, you don't have to get into jumbo loans, and jumbo loan rates are more expensive. So if you're looking at, okay, going back to mortgage news, this is the jumbo loan rate. Okay. So if you stay below, your interest rate's going to be better. Okay.
So in other words, if they're putting a low down payment and the loan amount that they're borrowing exceeds the conforming loan limit, it's considered a jumbo loan.
Correct. And keep in mind, jumbo loans are a lot more strict. They require for you to have, depending on the lender, okay? Depending on the lender, it requires you to have at least 6 to 18 months worth of reserves in the bank. Okay. And many of them require you to have at least 10% down percent. Most of them will require you to have 20% down payment. So a lot of times, especially in the Bay Area, they'll see all these advertisements of really super low rates. Yeah, you have to consider how much you're going to have to put down to even get that rate too. And a lot of times with those rates, you're going to have to put down at least 30%. Bay Area home prices are roughly about 1.3 right now, okay, on average. So just imagine what that 30% means to a $1.3 million house.
Yep. It could be a lot.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's why I wanted you to go over it, because not a lot of people know what conforming loan limit means. For them, they're thinking, oh man, I can only buy up to that amount. No, it's not that. It's just it changes from a traditional to a jumbo. And jumbos are typically higher rates that's gonna go against your purchasing power.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you want to share about your good news
Yes.
now? I think
I was
Charles
waiting.
wants to hear about it too. Charles, like, what the heck is this?
So I called Charles last week. Okay. I called Charles last week because remember how we were talking about the water heaters? And then on our last segment, Charles was saying, hey, Lisa, you might need another water heater, right? So my incident the last time, I was like, all right, it's been over 10 years. Okay, let me go ahead and check it out. So I called Charles and he tells me I should upgrade to a tankless one and everything too. And I was looking at that, and it's roughly about $4,500 with installation and the whole shebang. I was like, dang, okay, all right, I'm gonna have to shell this out. Guess what, you guys? My husband did the research. He went on the SMUD website. Did you all know, and I'm gonna share with you this, did you guys all know, and maybe I'm last to know, but SMUD is giving you up to $3,800 of a rebate to upgrade your water heater to an electric one. And here's what I was told. Eventually, California is going to go into electric anyway because it's a lot more green. Okay. And not only does SMUD, and it depends on the installer and the person that did it for us. It was such a blessing because he is also certified to get rebates with the county of Sacramento. Not only does SMUD give up to $3,800,
wow,
but the county of Sacramento gives us another $3,000. So guess what? It's completely free for me. I just got it done 2 days ago. So it's for real,
That's really cool. You know,
Yeah,
it's funny that you say that about California going green, because a lot of new builds now, starting this year, 2024, they're not building any homes with gas anymore.
You see? So that's why. And I was like, okay. And I also asked too, because Charles, you mentioned the tankless water heater. Here's the thing, because it's tankless, because it's also runs on electric. It's not like completely gas as well. If your power shuts off, there's no backup water. So you will not have hot water at all if your electricity goes out. But with this one, because my area is able to handle 80 gallons, I have 80 gallons worth of reserves in the event that the electric goes out and everything like that. I still have 80 gallons of hot water reserve. So that was the cool thing. And it cost $6,100 for me to upgrade this completely free for me, you guys. I love that. Free 99 is my favorite. I'm sure it is
Nice.
for you guys there too. So if you guys didn't know, you heard it here. You heard it here. I haven't done this smart sprinkler yet. Look, we got a $400 rebate off of the city of Sacramento. So I was like, oh, that seems kind of cool. I'm going to try that too.
I'm surprised they're offering the sprinkler because aren't we in a drought?
No, I don't think so.
Yes,
Not even.
but here's the thing. What they do is, since it's smart, it automatically doesn't water when it knows about, you know, the saved water dates and all that stuff. And then it automatically, because
Yeah.
some people just turn their sprinklers on and let them run all these ridiculous amount of times. But when they have the smart ones, it automatically adjusts based on rain, based on the climate, based on all these different things. And then if you have, like, you know, different kind of things coming in where, you know, it'll hook up to your electric company and all that, or your water company, it'll tell you, you know, when it needs to shut off and all that. So, I mean, there's a lot of, when it's smart, it does it all for you. So you don't have to worry about it, because people just don't pay attention. They just leave their sprinklers running. It'll be raining outside, sprinklers going, you know, all that kind of stuff. So
That
I ain't
is
gonna
so
lie. I'm
so
that
cool.
person.
a lot of people.
I'm sure I am too. I can't wait to try this. But let me tell you, I mean, I go by this model all the time. In every adversity, there's always going to be an opportunity. And I can't believe we wouldn't have known this if our water heater didn't break. But guess what? Here's the other kicker, guys. Unfortunately, our son totaled our car, so we actually had to get a brand new car. And with all of the discounts, and we did opt to get an EV car. And guess what? We also found out SMUD also gives up to installation and a free charger for your EV car for up to $2,500.
Yep.
So we're getting that for free too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of rebates right now towards electric only appliances or features like that, because again, California is trying to go green by, I think, 2025 or something like that. 2035. I don't know, somewhere around there. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
the contractor, does SMUD, can you just have your own contractor come out and install those water heater?
So it has to be a SMUD contractor.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm sure if you really like your contractor, all they have to do is sign up with SMUD. I don't know what that process is and everything, right? But
Mhm.
not all contractors are also they should be, I think, but not all of them fill out the paperwork for the county of Sacramento. Now, here's the thing: the rebate with the county of Sacramento, what it is that you pay for whatever the adjusted amount. So say for instance, if the water heater is $6,000 and SMUD gives you $3,800, then you have to pay the difference, right? And then you wait for the rebate from the county. Guess what? Because the installer that came to my house, he already did all the paperwork for his company and everything like that. They pay him directly, so he doesn't even take anything up front at all. So if you need, any of you guys are worried about, like, it's an instant rebate, and if you guys need contact or anything like that, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to do that for you. I'm happy to even set that appointment because I got it for free. I want everybody to take advantage of this. And you know, these programs, just like the Dream for All stuff, who knows when it's actually going to run out. They don't give you that
True.
limit, but hey, if you heard it here, go ahead and get it done. I got it done 2 days ago. Super happy with it, and I'm just so grateful. In the face of adversity, I didn't have to shell out a dime.
That's the thing I don't get, you know, like obviously these rebates are pretty cool, right? Because you don't have to come out of
Yeah.
pocket and it basically covers everything. How come they don't advertise this as much? You know, like they're kind of waiting for just word of mouth and kind of just not bringing it up unless you bring it up. You know, like
Well,
that's one of the things I feel I'm so frustrated over is more people need to know about these type of programs, but then they don't ever advertise it as much.
so there's 2 theories that I'm going to have for you, right? 1, Gia, when's the last time you saw an advertisement on TV?
True, but there's YouTube now. There's YouTube ads now, you know.
Correct. Correct. There's YouTube. That's completely true. Okay. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's like I don't actually watch TV anymore. I actually am very little on social media now. So that's on me, right? But number two, think about it. The program is there. It's supposed to help the consumers. But what happens to the money when the consumers don't utilize it, guys? Just think about that. That's just my conspiracy theory type of thing. So they don't advertise. I'm just letting you know right now, they don't advertise it. I schedule it for my mama, for my brother, for my clients, for my friends, whoever, right? Whoever I can think of. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, it's free. Go get it before it's gone. So we're telling you
Uh-huh.
now.
Yeah,
The
I
nice
get
thing
it.
about it too is,
They're trying to save cost for the person.
Yeah.
yeah. The nice thing about it too is a lot of counties have, a lot of counties and cities have similar, rebates. A friend of mine just got some turf installed, artificial grass, and was given a pretty large rebate for the same reason.
Mm,
Because you're saving on watering. You're using less
yep.
water. So the city, gave her a rebate for that. Same thing with new HVAC system. Using an electric system, again, going from a gas system and upgrading to an electric heat pump system, same thing. Huge rebates, huge discounts because again, you're using less of this gas that everybody's upset about. And at the same time, if you have solar on your house, then you're actually saving money for yourself because when you're using gas, to heat your house, especially during the winter months, it's definitely more expensive, and they do that on purpose, obviously. But if you have solar and especially if you have batteries, you're going to be able to utilize the grid and use it that way. The other thing too is with solar installations, also they're giving rebates to install that too. PG&E has been really big about giving rebates for installation on solar systems as well.
Yeah, if they're gonna meet their deadline of making California go green by next year, they
Yeah.
got a lot of catching up to do because not a lot of people are
Mhm.
still sold on solar or electricity yet.
Yeah.
Like, especially us Asians, right, Lisa? When we cook, we like that gas grill. We don't like that electric stuff to where it's like my pan gotta touch the metal surface to heat
Oh yeah.
up. We don't
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Stays
So
hot. Don't like that.
No, you
Stays
don't
hot.
like that, but it heats up differently and everything like that too. I mean, my husband, he's an amateur gourmet chef and everything. And if you are an artist in the kitchen, you will not like or enjoy the electric as much for sure. But speaking of HVACs, Charles, so the installer and we're friends now. We're homies now, okay? And he was sharing with me, and I told him, I was like, hey, anytime there's any new rebates or any upgrades, just like you said, Chia, they don't advertise it, right? So he's my go-to guy. And I told him, anytime there's a new thing coming up, he's like, oh yeah, actually, the HVAC one, they're going to give $8,000. Mud is already talking about $8,000, and they're trying to negotiate it with the county to see if they can provide another $3,000 to $4,000. So come around May-ish, guys. Okay. And once I have the update, I'll definitely let you know the HVAC is coming sometime this year.
oh man, I wish I would have
Big
waited
discounts. Big
because my
discounts.
HVAC is basically like a year old.
Mine's
You
gone
got
black
gas too,
legs,
huh?
so I'm super lucky right now.
You got gas too, huh, Chia? You got gas,
Huh?
huh? You got gas,
No,
didn't
I
you?
did not. So when
Oh,
I got
okay.
my HVAC, they were giving me like a promotional rate of a price reduction if I went with the electric heat pump versus gas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I went with the heat pump. But I will say this. When you go from gas to a heat pump, make sure you get the electric strips. If you don't, it takes forever for your home to heat up in the winter because they have no heat strips to go off by, and it's basically generating everything from code. And if outside is like 47 degrees, like what we're seeing right now in California, and then you want the temperature in your house to be like 70 degrees, that's 30-degree difference. It got nothing to go off by. So it's kind of like competing with the outside ambient temperature to cool the internal combustion first before it sends you the heat. I know I'm getting all geeky here, but get the heat strips. They're worth it. I still haven't gotten it. I need to. I've just been kind of like biting my tongue and saying it's okay. I'll cuddle in my blanket until it heats up to temperature. You know. So
When you find the heating strips, because I know you're super. When you find the right ones, can you please just text me the picture on Amazon or wherever you get it from so I can get it
no,
too?
so the heat strips has to be from the actual installer or the manufacturer
Oh,
of that HVAC. So you can't just go buy it and hey, change the light bulb. Here you go, heat strip. Doesn't work that way. It gets installed into the motherboard of the heater.
see, that's why we get it from you, Jeff. They got it from me. Oh my gosh, everybody would be screwed. Go to
It'd be
Amazon.
funny. Yeah, I was just gonna say, you'd be like, does Amazon have heat strips?
Yeah, if Amazon don't have it, I'm going to Temu.
So think about it this way:
Uh,
it's like having an electric dryer inside your heater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So basically, it's the air conditioning running in reverse when you have a heat pump system, right? You know, it's the compressor is running the refrigerant in reverse. So if you have the heating kit inside your unit, then it's actually like a heater, like a dryer, electric. Like there's coils in there that heat up and heat the air, and then the air passes. So it gives it a little boost. You know, again, it's just another one of those things that, you know, you got to have the right person telling you about it when you're buying it, because if they're not, you don't need that auxiliary heat, it's fine, you know.
For
Especially
real.
when you're out
I'm
in the
I'm
hills.
so pissed. I'm so pissed that the rep that came and helped me with it didn't educate me on that, you know? So I'm like, it makes sense why he didn't educate me on it, because he doesn't even know what it is, you know? Like the technician knows more about it. And I'm pretty good friends with the technician now, and he told me so much about my system. And yeah, I get the heat strips. Okay, if you guys are going electric, just that's all I gotta say. You won't be disappointed. You'll thank me later because it'll get hot instantly versus waiting hours later while you're snuggled in like in your blanket like me. We got a comment from Linda and Tang. This is for Lisa. Any
Yes.
idea on how I can improve my credit score? My previous bank sold 2 of my loans and it stopped the auto draft. Oh Lord, which caused me to have a few late payments on my investment properties. As soon as I realized I made payments, but it left a big dent in my score. Yeah, gosh, late payments suck.
Yeah. I actually we covered this in the last few shows, Linda, and I'm glad that you asked about this. So here's the situation, okay, guys. The sad thing is, especially for investment properties, because a lot of times when they change loans, they don't know to send the mail to your house. They'll send it to your investment property, and by the time you
With a
realize
10.
it, gotta be very vigilant about looking at those things. And if you have investment properties, I'll be honest with you, don't put it on auto payment, because I've seen this happen before. I had a client that actually is going through this right now too. So I totally, completely feel for you on that. So Linda, this is what you can do. It's not a surefire thing, okay? Because I do work with credit repair companies, and I've actually asked them about this too. So if it's less than 6 months, your chances of actually renegotiating that and whatnot is going to be tougher. One, I'm assuming that your payments are all up to date and everything like that, because it has to be, okay? Whatever late payments and everything like that. And speak to the supervisor, speak to the managers to see if they will remove that for you. Most of the time, they will not. Okay, they were going to stand by that, because technically, yes, it is your responsibility to monitor your payments and stuff. So that's an unfortunate situation. The other thing is, after that, okay, after the 6 months, you have a better chance contesting that with the credit bureaus, all 3 credit bureaus, explaining exactly what happened and everything like that. The auto payment, you did not get any notification. You didn't get that, which is true on your part. You didn't get notifications that you are aware of. So therefore, they have to prove that they actually sent you those notifications via email, via whatever. And sometimes, because it's after 6 months, it may be more work than wherever department is going to take care of. What they tell me is it's about a 60-40 chance. So after 6 months, it's a 60-40 chance that it could work in your favor. Now, persistency, really, truly, if you want to fix your credit, is the key. You just nagging and nagging, and you're going to be that squeaky wheel, that annoying person that is just going to say, all right, dude, okay, let's just deal with it. However, if nothing happens, Linda, after 12 months, it should be better, okay? But the worst case scenario, 12 months after your late payments have been off and everything like that, you should be okay. I hope that helps.
Chang, you're funny, bro. He says, "What? Wait, what did I miss about the AC? I need one soon. Can we get a free AC?" Nothing's free, bro.
It may not be free, but what I did ask my homie, his name is AJ, who's telling me about all these rebates and everything like that. And again, if you want any more information, connect with me and I'll send you his contact. Okay. He said that it's not a free unit. So far, the Talk ISMUD will provide $8,000 worth of rebate, and usually for an HVAC unit goes anywhere between $15,000 to $20,000. Is that correct, Charles? That's what I was quoted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait,
So
how much?
$15,000 to $20,000, and it
Oh,
depends
yeah,
on the
okay,
size
that's
of your house too, you guys. Okay, it depends on
Yep.
the size of your house. So
Yeah.
they're going to give you a $8,000 rebate. Hey, that's better than nothing. Okay, and
Yeah.
if they're working with the city or the county of Sacramento to get us another $3,000 to $4,000, heck, man, that's a steal of a deal, you guys. I would take it. I'm waiting for that myself. My HVAC is on its last leg too, Chang. So I'm waiting for it too. I wouldn't have known this if my water heater didn't bust. So I see this as a huge, huge blessing. And I hope that it's a blessing for you guys out there too. And you're very welcome, Linda.
Oh yeah. Is it so my question to Linda is Linda on or is Tang on? Because your name says Linda and Tang. You don't need to answer that. I was just messing around, but yeah. Okay. Charles, you shared some stuff with me before we went live. You want to share it with the group?
Yeah. So again, this comes down to managing expectations and having good representation. So just today, I actually had a situation come up where a client reached out to me and asked me, hey, I have something going on. I have some water damage. Can you look at this and give me some some additional information? Like, is this should I how do I even know what this is, right? And so she ended up telling me that it was behind her washer and dryer area. So my assumption was, I'm thinking, well, there's probably something wrong with maybe the drain, because typically if you have a water supply problem, you're going to have a much larger stain, leak, odor, all that stuff, mold, any of that stuff. So basically she basically just pulled out one of the bins that was in her closet because she was going to put some things away and whatnot. These are the kind of things that can come up. So this house was built 30 years ago. And so basically what ended up happening is one of the drain pipes
Ooh, I
that
see
was
that
coming
black
from,
mark.
yeah, one of the drain pipes that was coming in coming down from upstairs was actually leaking directly at the slab. And I'll pull it up so you can kind of see where that is. So basically right in here, right at the base of the slab, there was a leak.
Why does that look
coming
like it
from-
was glued?
So basically, all of these ABS connections are glued together, right? But basically, somebody did a little bit of a shoddy repair. Let me show you what the inside of that pipe looks like. This is what the inside of the pipe looks like. So picture this being the rim of the pipe, and then this is the coupler that goes to it. So what ended up happening is that at some point during the installation, they broke the side of the pipe off, and then they put this coupler over the top. And if you also see, this is the rim where the pipe sits. The pipe is supposed to be in contact with this right here, this little gap right here, plus this open area right here. So if you look at this, there's a gap right here, right? So that gap is actually right down here where they put all this goopy, ABS cement. So what they did was, and this was, I keep talking about new builds, all right? This was done a long, long time ago. Most likely when this home was built 30 years ago, right? And so what ended up happening is over time, you got expansion and contraction of not only the piping, but also the cement. At some point, it moved enough around that it failed, and it's allowing a small seeping of water to come out, from this area. And so now it's causing damage. Now, again, this isn't something that you would ever be able to know, even from a new build inspection. The only way you'd probably know about this is if you did an inspection on like a pre drywall inspection. But this was repaired at some point. So somebody cut this open, made a repair because they noticed there was something going on, and then they put the wall back, right? So the problem is that I mean this has caused a lot of damage, and now she's got to deal with this. Obviously later on. But here's the thing: I asked her about this, and I said, okay, so we're dealing with this situation right here. Can you imagine if you were going to buy this house, okay, and this was a closet? Home inspector came in. They inspected this whole area. Now, if you look at those little indentations down there, there were bins sitting right in front of this. The
Yeah,
closet
it was blocked.
the closet was fully blocked with all kinds of stored items, right? So again, managing expectations, a home inspector will never remove everything from a closet
Right.
or remove items around the house. That not only is it against our policies and our standards, it's also going to really piss off the seller, right? Like, why are you touching my stuff, right? So you have to do a little bit further diligence when you're buying a home that's occupied, especially when there's a lot of stored items. You need to be prepared for some of these things because it can come up. When you're buying a home that's pre-owned, a lot of these things can happen, right? There's a lot of things that can happen. Now, this is the idea, right? All this stuff was in there. Home inspection's done, appraisal's done. You already waived your contingencies, all that stuff, right? Now, now, Sheila, let me ask you what you would do in this situation, all right? And I want to know from two directions. You're the listing agent, right? Seller calls you and says, man, I just pulled out my stuff because we're moving. We're getting ready to pack up our storage and all this stuff's back here. So I want you to answer that to me from a listing agent's perspective and answer that to me from a buyer's agent's perspective, right? So you come in with your buyer to do a final walkthrough 2 days before close, whatever it is, and you see that. How would you handle that? Number two, on this listing agent side, your seller calls you up and says, hey, I just pulled out a bunch of bins. What are we going to do about this, right? I just knew, but I didn't even know this was going on, right? And then what always ends up happening is how come the home inspector didn't find it, So how would you handle that in this case?
I will call you and be like, Charles, you missed a spot.
always.
I'll just play. So those are good points, Charles. So one, if a seller came to me and said that they removed everything and they're getting ready to vacate and they see this, I will call a home inspector right away. I will call you right away and get it inspected to see what's going on. And then depending on how that goes, because we have knowledge of it now, we're supposed to disclose it now to every prospect, okay, on the transfer disclosures. And buyers, you guys get that when your offer gets accepted, okay? Now, as a buyer's agent, if we did the final walkthrough now because the home is empty, right? Like what you said, as a buyer's agent, I'm gonna bring it up and be like, hey, this was blocked because y'all obviously was living there when we did our inspection, and my guy missed it because he's not obligated to removing anything. So because of that, we need to get this straightened out. So what I would actually do and what I've done before in the past is delay closing if they don't want to do anything about it. I'll share a story, okay? I had a buyer that bought a home in Natomas, and behind the home there was a big field, an empty field. There was no neighbors. It was a nice home in North Natomas, and on the final walkthrough, a homeless person broke in, maybe more than 3, because there was a lot of evidence everywhere, and they trashed the place. And we brought it up to the seller's attention, and the seller was like, nope, I ain't doing nothing. It's your home now. You remove all contingencies now. And I had to kind of bring up the paperwork and say, yeah, we did remove all contingencies, but we still have the final walkthrough, and you're supposed to give the property back to us the way we saw it when we went into contract. And it doesn't look like that no more. So you still got to resolve it. So and they did right by my buyers, and they cleaned it up and fixed everything that was damaged, so my buyers took over. But not all sellers are gonna do that. And depending on how that goes, you can either go to arbitration with that seller or delay closing. And most of the time you delay closing. And that's why I always like to tell my buyers, Charles, that we should do final walkthrough like before you sign the final documents, because normally when buyers sign, they normally bring like a cashier's check with them, or they have a wire instruction that goes right after the signing. And normally when you do that, it's harder to delay because everything's already received, especially if you don't know who the title company is. So I always recommend doing final walkthroughs before signing.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Well, and let me tell you this too. This is the other shady thing about this situation. In a situation where you have a shady, unscrupulous seller, and they pull this stuff out, and they're like, "Oh man, this is messed up. I don't want to deal with this." Then they'll come in with some kills. They'll dry the carpet up. They'll figure out whatever. They'll paint all that with some kills. They'll paint the wall, and then they'll pretend like nothing ever happened, right? So not only now are you covering up a situation, right, in your two things. Again, no way to know that was there, and then now you're also covering up, and then they're not disclosing that to their agent, their seller's agent, their listing
That's
agent.
a big
they're
can of worms waiting to happen. Yeah.
Yes. Now,
Hey,
can you
Charles.
imagine though? Here's the problem.
Charles.
This is thousands of dollars.
Right.
Go
When they
ahead,
cover
Lisa.
it up like that, Charles, when they cover it up like the way that you're saying it is, a normal eye can't see that. But you, as an inspector, if they cover it up like that, would you be able to tell?
So it depends on the situation. If they, because this baseboard is swollen, right? So they would literally have to come in and replace the baseboard. Like if they did a good job, then I wouldn't be able to tell. Like if they did a good job, meaning they replaced the baseboard, they did a really nice job of covering. They painted the whole closet. A lot of times what happens is they think they can get one over, so they just paint the baseboard or they just paint it. You can always tell when something's been repainted unless they literally have the exact same paint. But there's always going to be an obvious. And that's why a lot of times in my inspections, I'll say previous repairs noted, inquire with the seller as to these repairs. And the seller should have disclosed why they repaired that area, right? If there's a patch or a new paint job, I don't care if they just had a little hole in the wall and a hook and they did it. They need to disclose, whether or not it's either, I know they're not going to disclose when they took a towel bar off and put it. That's kind of ridiculous. I know they're supposed to technically, but that's ridiculous, right? But if you have a big leak like this, you're supposed to disclose that. But as a seller, if I not nothing in my home inspection report, and then the buyer's like, "Hey, what's up with this repair?" And then they have communications with agents, then the agent should say, "Hey, what's going on with this?" And then the other communication will come back, "Oh, that was just a towel rack. That's all that was." But then if they say, "Oh man, I forgot to disclose that was a water leak." So yeah, typically you should always be able to tell unless they did a really, really good job. And in that case, they're going to spend a lot of money to fix it. They're going to retexture it.
But you can't assume, what
can.
Charles was saying, Lisa, if they paint over it, and even though you know that it was painted over, most of the time, home inspector would just say something along the lines of, "Looks like previous repairs was done. Ask owners for more info," right? And then from there, the owners could say, "Oh, it was just nothing. We were giving the whole house a paint job because tennis was in there." It could be a big lie, and it's a he said, she said thing to where we don't know what we don't know. Only the seller knows, right? And if they are withholding information, then if the buyer is able to do further investigation and finds out that leak has been going on for many, many years, and they have a certified inspector that goes in there and look at all of that and says, "Oh yeah, they knew about this. This is hella noticeable." And then if you could go to arbitration, you could go through all of that and press charges.
And the idea is you have all of these, you have all of these different things that come up. But again, that's why I prefer to do an inspection on a vacant home, because you can see so much more. When it's an occupied home, the problem is, you literally have people that'll put they'll have blankets or pillows and they'll cover things up. There's sometimes when I just I get a sneaky feeling in my head, I'm like, that doesn't look like that belongs there. Nobody would put
that
so
pillow doesn't go there. Who
I
sleeps
look
at the
back and I'm
corner of a wall?
And then I'm like, whoa, what's that? But this is the idea, right? Let's say you have a couch, right? Same thing. You have a couch, and then this is the closet. How would you know there's a big old pipe behind that wall? You know what I mean? You just don't know in these situations, right? So you just kind of want to be vigilant with these things. And understand. That's really the biggest thing. Understand the limitations of an inspector, but also understand you're buying a previously owned home, and there's a lot of things that can happen. There's a lot of times when people do things, they paint. For example, one of those little screws up there on that little shelf bracket could have went through a pipe. And maybe they took it out when you go to take this out because you don't like what they did in the closet. Then all of a sudden now the pipe's not sealed anymore because you took the screw out and now there's leaks, right? you got to understand that people do things in homes and you can't see behind the wall. Now, let me show you something else because I want to make a point as to what you're seeing here. So you see these metal brackets right here. You see the pipe running behind it. That metal bracket is to prevent you from accidentally screwing a screw through that pipe, right? But sometimes, again, if you're not doing a pre-drywall inspection and maybe the guy missed it when he was doing his walkthrough, sometimes those don't get installed. And then unfortunately, it's you that ends up finding out when you put a screw through there. Look how close the screw holes, these are screw holes from that bracket that I pulled out, right? Look how close that is to those pipes, right? A little bit further down, and then like you just kind of force it, or maybe use a drill bit because you were being extra overzealous there. If you can't get through it when you're putting in a screw in a wall, do not drill through the wall. You move it somewhere else. I don't care if you really want your picture to be there. Put it somewhere else because chances are there's something behind that wall, right? And you kind of never know. I encourage everybody, especially if they're going to buy a new build, I encourage everybody to go into their house pre-drywall. And even if you're not getting an inspection, just take pictures of everything and just go through and kind of take a look. It is a very different experience to see a house without drywall up and just without all of the finish work, because to see all of the components and everything, all the piping, all the electrical and all that stuff before anything gets installed in front of it is pretty crazy, and it's interesting to see. And I encourage anybody that's buying a new home to do that, just so that they can kind of see what they're working with behind the walls, because you'd be surprised how easy it is to put a screw through something and not even know about it. You know, when you're a homeowner putting up pictures and TVs and things of that nature, you know what I mean? It's really actually pretty easy to do, but you really have to be vigilant when you're buying a previously owned home. You know, yeah, you have a home inspector, but don't just take the home inspector, the realtor, whatever. Go around and look at things, and really get an eye for what's been going on and what's been installed in these homes, because you really never know what some people have done and what they've tried to cover up. And sometimes people are honest. They just forgot something happened. It wasn't that big of a deal. They didn't do it right, you know, and they won't always disclose everything. So you can't just rely on those disclosures to be the end all be all, right? You know, light fixtures up above, fans, all that stuff. Chances are it wasn't done by a contractor. Chances are they just went to Home Depot and got some parts and put it in. You know, we're going to tell you as much as we can, but not everything, not everything is always visible, right? So there are limitations to a home inspection, but we're going to do our best. And again, we talked about this. Not all home inspectors are created equal. You know, not all realtors are created equal. So make sure, you know, again, you have good representation, and then do a little bit of looking when you're going through, and be aware and understand that when these things happen, sometimes you run into these things when the home's older and you know, the pipe gets, like, for example, the first thing that we thought of is that back in the 90s and 80s, they made some ABS pipes that weren't really the best. And so sometimes what ends up happening is that they kind of crack and fail, and then they leak right where the joints are. It happens a lot. And that's initially what we thought about, you know, that initially. And but it ended up being a shoddy repair, and that made it even worse to know that they repaired it in the way that they did. So
Yeah. Let's
there's a lot of
answer
comments
some comments.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot of comments over there.
Yeah, Chang says, "Yep, my agent hates me. I told him to open the house, and I went up and down the house in a crawl space attic. He probably advised you not to do that, because if you get hurt, man, it's on him. So
Yeah,
maybe that's why. So it's kind of like a liability thing, man. Sometimes, as much as I want to give all that information to my clients, Chang, I also want to make sure that they don't get bit in the butt with whatever's down there too, you know, and now I'm liable. Because one time I showed a house and a dog was in the garage and they didn't tell us about it. I had to bite the bullet and get bit, or it was a potential lawsuit waiting to happen by my client if she got bit, you know? So little things like that. But yeah, man, I think your agent was just trying to protect you, bro. Eva says, does this apply to new builds? Yes, it does. Like what Charles says, this could apply to any home, old or new. With new builds, though, they're not perfect, but what they kind of tend to do is, especially if they don't let you do a framing walkthrough, if the home is already built and you bought a sitting inventory, then what they would do is kind of like a welcome home walkthrough, or like an orientation day with your agent, to where they go over every little bit of the house that's wrong. And what I like to tell my clients that buy new builds is, you have a 1-year warranty. Before that 1-year warranty ends, call Charles up to do a thorough inspection so that you have a whole list of reports to give to your warranty team before it expires so that they can get all those things checked out and repaired or replaced. So take advantage of that warranty, because normally after that, they don't really answer the call anymore after your 1-year warranty is up. So take advantage of that. On the 11th month, I like to always put it in my calendar to call my clients and be like, hey, it's 11 months. Call Charles. So something to think about if you're buying a new build, okay? It definitely happens more than what we like, but they're not perfect. They're human at the end of the day, okay? So I'm kind of rushing through this because I just don't want to take too much of everybody's time. It's already 8 o'clock. So sorry about that, y'all. Older homes, I have learned that people always say they don't know about any repairs has been done to the home, but they've been living there for 20 years. Laugh out loud when I see disclosures that they don't know anything. My lie detector goes off. Yeah, man, it's
Come on
pretty
now. 20 years?
self-explanatory.
You know something broke in 20 years. Come on.
I haven't done
you
anything.
know.
Repairs was done with my eyes closed, bro. I've been here for 20 years like this.
Oh, man.
Let's give these people the benefit of the doubt, because you bought my house, I would have been like, nothing needs to be done. My water here looks fine. That's it. So people don't lie. They just don't know, y'all.
Charles, I'm thinking about becoming a home inspector because I found all kind of things on my house.
Man, that's crazy.
Sometimes that's all it takes, Ching. You go through it, you live through it. You're like, man, can't anybody do the job right? I'm gonna change that, and then that's what happens, man. One
Yeah.
inspiration idea leads to another career change.
That's how she and I actually got into the business ourselves too. It's like, hey, dude, I don't like the way this looks. Okay, well, let me try it.
That's a story for another day on how I started. Some of you guys probably already know how, but that's another story from another day. But hey, y'all, that is it for today. It's already over 8 o'clock. I am sorry we went over, but hopefully you guys have fun. I had fun, talking about all this. We could have went for longer, but we'll save it for next time. All right. We'll save it for next time. But it's always good to see you guys. Happy New Year. 2024 is going to be amazing. If you guys are looking to get pre-approved, get all that duck in line, reach out to Lisa. Just ask her anything you want to ask, so that way you can be better prepared to buying a home. If you guys need a home inspection, or you guys want to know more about home inspections, get ideas, reach out to Charles too. He's here and he would love to educate you guys, as you guys could already know. Okay. But other than that, I will leave you guys and I will see y'all next time. Okay. Peace out, everybody.
Take care, guys.